Welcome to the video lecture series of digital image processing. This is lecture number 16. In today's lecture, you are going to study about image quality and need for image enhancement. So after the completion of today's lecture, you will be able to understand what do you mean by image quality and why image enhancement is required. Let me tell you that you must be aware that an image is supposed to provide information to an observer. For example, if you talk about medical image, then the medical image is supposed to provide information of specific parts of body for diagnosis and decision making. This is one example I have taken. You can take the example from other fields as well, like if you talk about the forensic image or other types of image. But sometimes the quality of acquired image is not satisfactory because of several factors like brightness, contrast, blur, unnatural colors, noise, etc. Therefore, image enhancement is required. So this is actually what is the objective and why you are studying today's lecture. Today you are going to study about three topics. One is image quality factors, image quality assessment tool, this is the another topic, and the third is image quality metrics. So these three things you have to study in today's lecture. Let us begin with the first topic, which is image quality factors. You know, to improve the quality of an image, it is necessary to assess its quality, and this requires some quality quantification and assessment tools. Therefore, you can say that image enhancement can be understood with the concept of image quality, and several factors are responsible for image quality. But out of those, some of the essential factors are contrast, brightness, spatial resolution, and noise. Now, I'll be explaining each and every factor in detail so that you will be able to understand what do you mean actually by image quality and what are the factors which impact the quality of the image. So first is contrast. What is contrast? Contrast of any image refers to the finer details, and contrast can simply explained as the difference between the maximum and minimum pixel intensity in any image. You know that all objects do not have the same kind of surface. Some object may have one kind of surface, some may have another type of surface. Like some surfaces of objects are smooth and some are rough. Even in fact, if you talk about the light, then light itself does not illuminate the scene uniformly because some of portion of the object may hide the other portion. Similarly, objects reflect light in a non-uniform manner because their properties also differ. Therefore, when an image is formed, the magnitude of the intensity differences between the different surface of an object is recorded, and this is known as contrast. So contrast is a very important factor which defines the image quality, and there are various ways in which contrast can be measured. A common measure of contrast involves the two factor known as average pixel intensity of object and the background. So accordingly, it can be written as C is F object minus F background upon F object plus F background. Here F object and F background is the average pixel intensities of object and the background. There is another way to calculate the contrast. and it is C is equal to F object minus F background upon F background, and this is sometimes known as simultaneous contrast. Simultaneous contrast is one of the commonly used term in the image quality description. Another way to compute contrast is based on the sinusoidal grating, and it is written as F maximum minus F minimum upon F maximum plus F minimum. Here F maximum and F minimum are the maximum and minimum intensities of the image. Contrast can be increased by multiplying every pixel of the image by a constant A. Like, if fxy is the given image, input image is fxy, then output image or the new image can be calculated by multiplying the input image fxy with a factor A. So here gxy is the new image. So this is how the contrast can be increased. Brightness. Next important image quality factor is brightness. Brightness refers to the average pixel intensity of an image, and similar to contrast, the image should be reasonably bright. Therefore, all the information can be easily viewed by the viewer. However, excessive brightness may affect the quality of image as well. So brightness is a relative term and it depends on your visual perception. Since brightness is a relative term, so brightness can be defined as the amount of energy output by a source of light relative to the source with which we are comparing it to. In some cases, we can easily say that image is bright, while in some cases, it's not easy to perceive. How to make an image brightener? What the kind of functions can be applied? So brightness can be simply increased or decreased by adding or subtracting something from the image matrix. We know that image can be represented into a matrix. So if we add something to each and every pixel intensity of the image, brightness can be increased. If we subtract something from each and every image intensity level, brightness can be decreased. Brightness can be increased by adding a constant b. Here we have taken randomly a constant b, and mathematically it can be written as gxy, which is the new image, is what fxy, which is the input image, plus a constant b. Similarly, brightness can be decreased by subtracting a constant b to every pixel of the image, and new obtained image, which is being written as gxy, will be fxy minus b. This is how the brightness of any image can be increased or decreased. Third image quality factor is spatial resolution. What is a spatial resolution? Generally, we know that spatial resolution is defined as the number of pixels per inch of the image. However, this is not correct. Any image may have more pixels, but it may not be able to provide sufficient information regarding some of the factors like optical resolution. Therefore, the distance of an object from the camera and field of view. So these are the two important factors which plays an important role in defining image quality. Spatial resolution is the term that refers to the number of pixels or pixel density or quantization levels. It depends on sampling and quantization process. If spatial resolution is not satisfactory, it means image quality will not be satisfactory. And images having higher spatial resolution are composed with a greater number of pixels in comparison to those having lower spatial resolution. How to measure the spatial resolution? If any image is being given, then how will we be able to evaluate whether the spatial resolution is absolute or not? Since spatial resolution refers to clarity, so for different devices, different measures have been made to calculate it. And some of the examples are: first, dots per inch. Dots per inch is usually used in the case of the monitors. Another example is lines per inch. Lines per inch is commonly used in the case of the laser printers. And the third example which we have taken as a pixels per inch, and this is commonly used for various devices like tablets, mobile phones, etc. So these are the three commonly used examples for the measurement of spatial resolution, which is dots per inch, lines per inch, and pixels per inch. Fourth image quality factor is noise. From this particular term, all of us are very well aware. We have studied a lot in the communication. Image applications are frequently affected by noise which is present in the image, and we all know that noise is an unwanted disturbance that causes fluctuations in pixel value. It is a random or stochastic process. Therefore, its true value cannot be predicted accurately. And noise obeys all these statistical properties. For example, if the image quality, if the intensity level, gray level is being multiplied by a certain factor, and if noise is being present in that particular image, noise will also be multiplied by that particular factor. So noise obeys all the statistical properties. Therefore, we can say that noise is also one of the major factor which contributes to the image quality. Next topic for today's lecture is Image Quality Assessment Tool. For image quality assessment tool, histogram is one of the important factor which defines the image quality and via which image quality assessment can be done. Histogram of an image, like other histograms, also shows the frequency. But an image histogram shows frequency of pixel intensity values. So histogram, which is the plot, and it provides a global description of the appearance of an image. The x and y axis of the histogram represents the gray level values and the number of pixels having that intensity respectively. So accordingly, image histogram can be plotted over here. Here we have taken an image of size 8 cross 8. Just for an example, this image size is being taken, and corresponding to each and every coordinate, the pixel values have been mentioned. Like for coordinate 1, 1, the intensity level is 1. For the coordinate 8 cross 1, the intensity level is 6. Accordingly, for 7 cross 8, the intensity level is 7. So for this 8 cross 8 image, and for every coordinate, intensity level is being shown. So you can say that this is the image of size 8 cross 8. And for this particular image, you have to draw the histogram. So how to plot it? From the given image, we have to make a table where we have to show the variation of pixels along with its frequency. What do you mean by this? In the given matrix, we have to observe what is the variation of pixels 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Means how many times that pixel is occurring that shows the frequency. So there is no pixel 0 it means its frequency is 0. But if you observe the frequency of pixel 1, you can see that in that matrix it is being found at 10 different levels, different places. So frequency is 10. For 2, its frequency is 20. Accordingly, for each and every pixel, we have written the frequency. Now, there is a requirement to plot the curve, which is known as a histogram. Here you can see on x-axis we have taken the gray levels, while on y-axis the frequency of gray levels have been shown over here, and for each and every pixel the gray level is being represented. Like for 0, frequency is 0, so you can see here nothing is being represented, while for 1 the frequency is 10, so it has been represented as 10 value. For 2 it's 20, so accordingly. So this is the way the histogram plot can be drawn and via which image quality can be assessed. What are the advantages of histogram? The histogram of an image indicates the dynamic range of the image. This is the very important advantage of the histogram, and dynamic range itself is an indicator of contrast. Therefore, it defines how good the image is. Dynamic range is a useful metric that is expressed as the difference between the maximum and minimum pixels which have been found in the histogram. So dynamic range will be what? F max minus F min, where F max is the maximum value and F min is the minimum value of the pixel which have been found in the histogram. Dynamic range can also be expressed in dBs. You know how to convert any particular given expression into the dBs. So dynamic range can be written as 20 log. Here the base of log is 10. F max minus F min. This is how the given expression can be converted into the dB. So dynamic range can also be expressed in dB. These are the advantages of a histogram, and histogram is a technique via which image quality can be assessed. Next and last topic of today's lecture is image quality metric. What is image quality metric and why it is important? It is necessary to quantify the quality of image. This is always very important because unless we are not able to quantify it, our purpose is not going to fulfill. So the metric used to quantify the image quality is divided into two categories, and those two categories are objective fidelity criteria and subjective fidelity criteria. Now you have to understand these criteria in detail and how this is going to be applied on the image quality measurement. First is objective fidelity criteria. To understand this criteria actually provides equation, and this equation helps us to quantify the error that is helping in characterizing image quality. And how to calculate error? You must be having something input. If you perform any operation on that input, we must be getting some output, and if we compare output and input, then if required, error can be identified, calculated, and can be corrected as. So that particular operation needs to identify, and here I have explained you by taking an example of image compression. In this diagram you can see that fxy is the input image upon which a task is being performed, and here I have taken a task as a image compression. So after performing this image compression on a given image, we are getting some output image which is the f cap x comma y. So what is the error function? Error function can be written as e of xy, and that can be calculated at the difference of input from the output. So it can be represented as error is what? Exy f cap xy minus f of xy. This is how the error can be calculated. Errors may be negative. If you are calculating something, you are subtracting one number from the another one, then we may get a negative number as well. So to avoid negative number in the image processing operations, the type of error which is commonly used, we have to consider it, and that is mean square error, MSE. The mean square error can be written as 1 upon mn. Here m and n are the number of rows and columns in the image. So m also varies from 0 to m minus 1, and also varies from 0 to n minus 1. Fxy minus f cap xy and its whole square. From this square term, you can see that whether you are subtracting from fxy or from f cap of xy. So because since it's a square term, so we'll always be getting something positive. Image quality is also measured as a signal to noise ratio. This is also a commonly used term in the case of the communication. And signal to noise ratio is expressed as, it is the ratio of signal power to the noise power. But if you write it in the dBs, then signal to noise ratio would be 20 log, its base will be 10, signal amplitude upon noise amplitude. This is how it is being written in the dBs. Signal to noise ratio of an image, it can be represented as, in this way, the formula is being written over here. Here you can see that the signal to noise ratio is being written in dBs. So 20 log and its base 10 is being taken over here, and here we have assumed that the image of size m cross n. M rows, n columns, so you can see summation of all the terms 0 to m minus 1, 0 to n minus 1, f of xy its whole square upon the term of denominator fxy minus f cap xy. So this is the way to calculate the signal to noise power. Denominator is the signal power, signal amplitude, and numerator is the noise power. Noise is being denoted here by just calculating the error value. There is one more term which is known as a peak signal to noise power, peak SNR. It can be used to describe 8-bit image, and the formula for peak signal to noise ratio can be written as, here also it is being written in dBs, you can see. So 20 log base 10. Signal is 255, its square m into n, m and n. Again here we have taken the image of size m cross n. And in the denominator noise power, so the same term is being taken over here. So here for numerator you can see that peak power is being taken over here. That is why we have written 255 its whole square. So these are the two more ways to calculate or to define the signal to noise ratio, which define the image quality metric. Next fidelity criteria is subjective. Subjective fidelity criteria is also very important, but it is very subjective in nature. Means if I am describing something, my description would be different. If you are describing something, your description would be different. So this is how we are saying that it is subjective in nature. Means I can rate somebody on the same scale with some other value. You can rate somebody on the same scale with some other value. So subjective fidelity criteria is not based on any metric. It depends on the perception of human observers and their visual system. This is very important point. It depends on perception of human observer. As I have told you, my perception may be different, my evaluation may be different with your evaluation. So rating by a number of human observer based on typical decompressed images are averaged to obtain this subjective fidelity criteria. Like if we are a set of 10 person and all the 10 person have evaluated the same thing, but our evaluation may be different. I may have rated 9, you may have rated 8, other may have rated some other value. So by taking the average, this subjective fidelity criteria works and gives the rating for any particular thing. Example of an absolute comparison scale is being taken and summarized in the form of the table. You can see it. From this table you can see the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these values have been taken and corresponding rating have been mentioned. 1 is for excellent, 2 is for the fine, 3 is for passable, 4 is for marginal, and for each and every rating the description is being given over here. Excellent will be when an image of extremely high quality, as good as desired. Fine means an image of high quality providing enjoyable viewing. Interference is not objectionable. So accordingly the ratings can be given, and that will help us to calculate the subjective in manner. The problem with the subjective measure is that scores would vary from person to person, I have told you, and for same person at different points that score would vary with respect to the time as well. So therefore, to make it more scientific, a group index that indicates the quality of image can be developed. So group index mechanism can also be used to evaluate the subjective fidelity criteria. Let me summarize you what you have studied in today's lecture. You have studied about the three topics. What are the image quality factors, metric, and about the histogram. So image quality may be degraded because of blur, noise, and artifacts. Image enhancement is subjective in nature. Histogram can help in understanding spatial distribution of pixels. You have drawn the histogram by assuming an image size of 8 × 8. Histogram can serve as image quality assessment tool. Signal to noise ratio is useful metric to quantify the error for quality assessment. This is a very important point. Objective fidelity criteria use metric to quantify the error for quality assessment. And subjective fidelity criteria depend on the perception of human observers and their visual systems. So this is all about the things which you have studied in today's lecture. Topic for the next class is image enhancement point operations. Thank you so much.